Here I am for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 8, episode 1. My God, 8 seasons already. But yeah, this was a good episode. Pretty good. So let's just get right into it. First it started off with Candy and Todd going to visit Dr. Jackie at the doctor's office, and she said that they were trying to have a baby, get pregnant for the longest, so they went with IVF. Come to find out, Candy at the time was 12 weeks and 4 days pregnant. So, I know that's something that they've wanted forever, and I just said in the Keeping It Current that she announced that she's having a boy, so I know her and Todd are like super duper happy. And like right now, at the time she was 12 weeks and 4 days. Right now she's 7.5 months pregnant, and Candy is wearing this pregnancy so well. Like, she's still glowing. She looks so adorable with her baby bump. I'm just so happy for her and Todd. So we get to Phaedra's house, and Phaedra's setting up, little snacks for her and Portia. Portia gets out her car, honey, and she got on her little red pantsuit, hair laid to the gods. I'm like, yes, Portia, yes. So, they're discussing Apollo. They're discussing Portia's relationship. Like, they're just talking, pillow talking. And then they start talking about Cynthia and Peter. So as they're talking about Cynthia and Peter, it goes to Cynthia and Peter's house. And Cynthia is sitting outside on her porch, and she just looks like she is not with the ish today. So, Peter tries to come and be all romantic, and Cynthia's not having it. He went to go give her a kiss, and she backed away from him. So they start discussing the whole situation with him in the club. What? Yeah. They start discussing the whole situation with him in the club, and the video that was showed over the summer of him with the girl. Say hi. They started discussing what happened over the summer with him in the club with the girl. Somebody recorded him in the club with the girl. I keep repeating it. And, he's, in the girl's ear, they're talking, but his hand kind of drifted down to her cleavage. Inappropriate. So Peter is basically saying it wasn't that big of a deal. Why would I cheat on my wife? Why would I this? Why would I that? And I'm like, own your truth. Yeah, it may not be a big deal to you, but if the shoe were on the other foot and a man was touching Cynthia in that manner, you would have had a bitch fit. So you need to empathize and see what your wife is saying. Own your truth. Don't sit up here and downplay it like it was nothing, because as a woman seeing that, you're embarrassing Cynthia. Okay? And then the fact that you're just like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. That's a lady that frequents my bar all the time. Okay, you don't know her from a can of paint. You don't know her and her intentions. So she could be somebody that frequents your bar all the time that's trying to get with you and trying to get you caught out there. So think with this, dummy. And that whole scene pissed me off, because I'm like, you could tell Cynthia about herself and what she need to do, but Cynthia doing the same thing to you. You want to downplay it like, no, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, don't do that. Be fair. And that's the thing. Peter is not fair. So now we get to Portia, and we meet Portia's new boo. His name is Duke. He plays for the Buffalo Bills as a safety, she said. He's 24 years old. He's a little cutie pie. And he ain't that much older than Portia, because Portia is like maybe 8 years older than him, I think. And it's the same with Kim and Croy. Kim and Croy is like 8 years apart, and they still married, still loving on each other, 6 kids later, so Portia just seemed like she's having fun. And by all means, have your fun, honey. Have your fun. You went through a crazy, high-profile divorce, and your ex-husband is a douchebag, and girl, have your fun. And it looked like she is, but it does seem like she's moving a little bit too fast, because she said she's only been dating this dude for a month, and already she wants him to meet her family, and she's taking all these big steps. And honestly, nobody should be meeting anybody's family until y'all at least, I think, serious. And I say serious is like about a good 6+ months If that, I mean, it's a different time frame for everybody else, but if you feel like it's serious and you feel like y'all gonna commit to each other to actually be together, then wait until it's that serious. Y'all is brand new. Y'all are just y'all are in the getting to know each other phase. Your likes, your dislikes, y'all are still getting to know each other. So slow down before you scare this boy off, Portia. So now we get to Cynthia and Kenya, and Kenya is talking about building her own home. They're in Buckhead. Sidebar. When I was in Georgia, I went to Buckhead with my cousins. Buckhead is beautiful in person. And I encourage all of y'all, if you've never been to Georgia or if you plan on going to Georgia, take a ride through Buckhead. Buckhead is beautiful. And that's mostly where these celebrities live, in Buckhead, Duluth, but a lot of them frequent Atlanta. So they're riding through Buckhead, and Kenya says that she wants to build her own home. She found a home, I think that was foreclosed or something like that. So she wants to build her own home, and she said that Sheree literally lives like 500 feet, from her. So they drive to Chateau Sheree, and I mean, the house looks nice. It's still being fixed up and whatnot. But the whole time Kenya was throwing shade, talking about the city, is making a big deal about it, and how Chateau Sheree is Chateau Charade, and Chateau she can't pay. I'm not gonna lie, some of the shade she was throwing was funny, but I'm like, Kenya, stop. Because you don't know that woman, you don't know Sheree. I don't like Sheree, but Sheree is not the one you want to come for. I'm just saying. So Kenya pulls up to her houses. You gotta go through the forest and the trees, and you gotta pass go and collect 200 to get to her house. And she said her house is different. She pulled up to her house. Her house looked like it used to be a former crack house. Like that house, okay, I see where she was going with her vision of how she wants the house to look, but I think she should have waited until she was in like maybe the beginning or middle stages of getting the house fixed up, because that house looked like that's where you could go and you could catch Ebola, and like that house looked a hot mess. But I see her vision, so I'm just gonna give her that. I mean, the house got potential, but I just wouldn't have showed it on camera this soon. I would have waited until some of the renovations was done and then been like, yeah, I'm building my house, and showed that. Because her showing what she showed on TV tonight, I was like, Lord, you look like you could catch all kinds of STDs and diseases in this house. You okay? You need to slow down drinking your juice, girl. But yeah, you okay? Are you okay? You want to get on camera. But yeah, so now we get to Phaedra and her mom, and they're discussing Apollo, and Phaedra is saying how she speaks to you say hi? Phaedra is saying how she speaks to Apollo frequently, and how and how he okay. And how he speaks to the kids all the time. And then we get to Candy and Ty, and they're discussing the Phaedra and Apollo situation. And Ty said that he's spoken to Apollo, and Apollo has told him that Phaedra still hasn't brought the boys up to see him. They don't really speak. Every time he calls like once a month, and every time he calls, nobody picks up the phone. And Candy is basically like, do you think he's lying? Do you think he's telling the truth or whatever? And Todd is like, well, I really don't know what to believe, but I do believe that to be true. Now, my whole thing is this. If Apollo has been lying for 2 years straight on Kenya, I honestly believe Apollo lied about the whole Mr. Chocolate thing. So what makes y'all think he's not lying about phone call? Like right now, Apollo wants everybody to be on his side, and he wants Phaedra to look like she's the demonic one, like she's the evil one, when we all know that I don't think it's true. And I mean, I think that, Phaedra may be upset with Apollo. She may be, because he embarrassed her. And I wouldn't blame him for being mad at her. But I feel like if Apollo lied on Kenya about trying to get with him for 2 years, what makes y'all think he ain't lying about full court? Like, that man ain't got nothing else to lose. He in jail. He's in jail. What else he has to lose? So I do believe that Apollo he's a habitual liar. Just like he was lying about his money, and then come to find out you doing writing fraudulent checks and all this other stuff. Like, come on, Apollo is a liar, point blank, period. I don't feel sorry for Apollo because everything that he did, he got himself in jail. Phaedra didn't do it, he did it. So he want to play victim now, want everybody to be on his side, and he want everybody to see Phaedra as evil when that's not the case. So, man, miss me with that. And I mean, Todd and Peter and all of them, yeah, y'all are just being friends, but y'all don't know the gist of the whole story. And I feel like a lot of it, Apollo is a liar. Period. I don't believe nothing that comes out of his mouth anymore. After he admitted that he lied on Kenya, I believe nothing that man says. So anyway, moving on. So now Candy, Todd, and Riley, they're in the house, and Candy's trying to find an outfit for Cynthia's eyewear launch event. And Nyla, relax. So she's trying to find an outfit, and you know she can't really wear much because she's having a baby, and she's getting a little bump, like her body is changing. And I mean, I feel her pain because I didn't really know how much like a baby bump can take. Like, you have to find like a whole, depending on how you carry your baby, you have to find a whole new wardrobe. When I was pregnant with my son, I couldn't wear jeans with buttons, so I wore leggings the rest of my pregnancy, girl. So I wore leggings the rest of my pregnancy because jeans wasn't doing it. And if I wore jeans, I had to wear like an attachment that would keep my jeans together. But when I was pregnant with her, I was able to wear all my jeans. It's just certain shirts I couldn't wear, so I had to wear bigger shirts and all of that. So I mean, each pregnancy is different, and it does change your body a lot. So, you know, I feel bad for Candy because she was looking for a cute little outfit, and she couldn't even wear any of the clothes that she originally could fit. So, you know, Todd is like, you were never a small. And she was like, babe. But I'm like, Candy was a small at one point, you know, a few years ago. But y'all act like Candy is fat as hell. Candy is a little thickalicious mama, and she wear her thickaliciousness very well. So leave her alone. And she's pregnant. She has an excuse. Leave her alone, y'all. So now we get to Cynthia and Mallory. Hi. We get to Cynthia and Mallory, and they're discussing the whole Peter thing. And Mallory, and you know, she asked Mallory, do you think that Peter's cheating on me? And Cynthia is like, Mallory is like, yeah, I do. And Cynthia is like, well, I don't want to think like that, but, you know, I am upset with him with that whole situation, and he knows it. And, you know, so Mallory is like, well, all we really care about is you, if you're happy. And, you know, so Cynthia is like, Cynthia is basically like, you know, I signed up for better or for worse. And I'm like, Cynthia, you've had the worst since you married this man. He done had so many businesses go down under. It's always been a financial strain with y'all. If it's not a financial strain, it's your friendships. It's him feeling like he can talk to you any old kind of way. Like, it doesn't seem like in Cynthia's relationship, her entire relationship from her engagement to her marriage now has been on TV. So, of course, as viewers, we're going to see, okay, Peter is just... And I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like Cynthia is not happy in her marriage. I feel like she is like but she's not going to tell it because she don't want people to say to her, I told you so. But I mean, this might be the breaking point because he's sitting up here and he messing with other women in the club and all of that. So, but you know, she's trying to push that to the side and get ready for her eyewear launch, which is like she has her own signature shades or whatnot. So we get to the event, she's setting up or whatever. And as the event starts, all the ladies arrive. Kenya arrives, Marlo is there. You know, Cynthia is still at home getting her hair and makeup done. So people are calling trying to figure out where she is. Phaedra arrived. Who else? Candy was there, and Candy was like, well, Phaedra's just trying to act like, you know, there's nothing wrong with us. Like, hey, girl, how you doing? And I'm just like, okay, I guess we're good. Like, you know, confused. So when Marlo came in, Marlo hugged everybody, and naturally, Candy had a look in her face, and Marlo was like, I didn't even see you, so she hugged Candy or whatever, and I really don't think, Candy just does not like Marlo, and it's okay, it makes a lot of sense, because Marlo talks a lot of junk, so it's whatever, just let bygones be bygones. So they're all sitting there, and they're discussing, Kenya and Marlo were downstairs, and Peter came, and Kenya brought up the whole situation with the girl on the in the video, and was like, yeah, that's the girl who was in your video, and blah blah blah. And my whole thing is, Kenya, mind your business. See, you always dipping in married folk business, and then you want to play victim when they curse you out, not like it's not deserved. And I'm like, that wasn't the time nor the place to bring up that situation. He's already getting enough heat about it from his wife, from the blogs and everything. And and although he was wrong, for you to bring it up at Cynthia's event was uncalled for. And again, it was none of your business. You can have your opinion like everybody else, but that's for him and Cynthia to deal with later on. So, we get to like the rooftop area, and Mallory spills the beans that Cynthia said that she doesn't like seeing her husband naked and all this other stuff. And that was like good tea that she spilled with these gossiping chicks. Not all of them, but Kenya's ears perked up and she was happy. But I'm like, Mallory, why would you do that? Like, you just... Anyway, so then Sheree arrived, and her entrance was everything. And mind you, like I said, I do not like Sheree like that, but I will give props when props is due. Sheree could make an entrance. So, she made an entrance. Everybody was surprised to see her, and everybody was asking, how she been or whatever. And so, they were giving her hugs and seeing how she was doing. We get to Kenya. Kenya is like, yeah, I've met you a couple of times through Lawrence. And, somehow the topic of Chateau Sheree popped up. And Kenya was like, yeah, the city, like people in the neighborhood were asking about it. The city was complaining. And Sheree's like, well, nobody needs to be in my business. What does this have to do with anything? And Kenya is like, well, you can't afford Chateau Charade and Chateau she can't pay. Just basically going off on her. And I'm like, but you don't even know Sheree like this to be coming for her. But yeah, like, she's just like, have you ever built a house before? Are you living in your house yet? And she's like, no, I'm not living in it yet. She said, okay, so until you're living in your house that you built from the ground up, stop renting and stop telling me what to do. And I was like, all right, Sheree. Come through. But Kenya's like, it takes 6 months to build a house from the ground up. I don't believe that. But I guess if you have the funds, it could take a house, Well, no, because Kim and Kanye, I'm sure they got billions. And it's taken their house, like, I think a year or so to be built. Look at Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is building a house from the ground up, and it's taken 2 years to do that. So I don't believe that a house takes 6 months to build from the ground up. No. It takes, I know it takes years, because you got permits, you got the contractor, you got all kind of legal stuff you got to go through before you can even build a house from the ground up. So I don't believe it takes 6 months to build a house from the ground up. I don't know what the hell Kenya was talking about. I don't even think Kenya knew what she was talking about, but whatever. But for some reason, she just kept coming for Sheree. And, Sheree is just like, well, you talking about my house. Don't your house have mold in it? I was like, yo. So Kenya was like, you go ahead and you live in your ditch. And Kenya was like, I could live in she said, I'll be living in my ditch while you still pitching a tent outside your house. I was like, oh my God. So basically this episode is to be continued, but I'm just like, shady boots. This whole episode was shady, but I am absolutely here for it and will be here for it every Sunday at 8 o'clock, y'all. But this was a really good season premiere. I enjoyed it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and I will see you in the next video. I know I owe y'all my special video. I didn't get to do it today, but I promise I'm going to have it up before the week is out. I have to do it. I will do it. So I'll